Oh. Whoop, there we go. We're in. Alright, guys, welcome back to the Empire Collective Cup Gold League. Now, once again, we had another restart since Spring's boar was trapped within some trees, which meant that the map was bugged and therefore it must have been restarted. Didn't cost either player a restart here, and if you guys remember back to game number 1, Eddie called his restart then. So he doesn't have a restart, but Spring does. Now the question is here, will Spring delete his walls? Because last time around, Spring deleted them all. Unusual, yeah, but that's just Spring for you. He did it versus Vinchester. He probably regretted it as well because he lost, and the question is, will he do it again? We'll have to wait and see, and we'll find out sooner or later. Down to the south then, in the blue, we've got Spring. He is playing as the Spanish in the blue, and up to the north in the red we have Eddie playing as the Aztecs up here. Expected civ choice from Eddie, Aztecs Arena civ of course, and Spring playing as the Spanish, which is an unusual civ I guess. You don't often see Spanish on Arena, but certainly not a bad civ by any means. Someone in the chat, True DX Sweg, much Sveg. What's the viewer count peak, he asks. I think it was 2,600 last year. I did some big promotion thing and tried to get everyone to go on the stream. It worked. Everyone came to the stream and watched. It was actually Spring who was actually playing then, I think. It was Spring versus LB10, perhaps? I think it was, or Spring versus Hallis. One of those guys were playing against Spring. I think it was Spring versus Hallis, actually, in the ZeroEmpires Invitational Finals. We had 2,600 viewers for that, which was quite funny because Hallis is like 1,700 at best. And obviously Spring is like 2k. So it was an absolute whitewash for Spring. He absolutely owned Hallis. But we had a lot of viewers because we tried to promote it. And it was good anyway. It was a lot of fun. So this time around, Spring doesn't seem to be deleting his walls, and, you know, kind of unexpected, I guess. He's having a hard time getting his boar in, though, isn't he? Trying to be all efficient and that, but just resorting to using a villager instead, because this boar is stubborn. Yeah, this boar is ass, according to Spring. I don't blame him. I mean, that's kind of bullshit, if you ask me. In my opinion, his scout didn't get too far away from the boar for it to run back, yet it still run back anyway. Kind of feel bad for Spring about that one, because, I mean, now he's late taking his first boar. If you have a look, Eddie's already taken his second's going to be on the way very soon. It's not really going to hurt his castle time or anything, but you kind of want to take your boar early, because obviously it does gather faster, and it makes your early game just a little, it ticks over a little nicer. Now, Spring has to force drop more resources underneath the TC and things like that, but either way, both players are going to be doing pretty similar build order in the Dark Age. Going to be going for that fast feudal. This time around though, I doubt that Eddie is planning on drushing, since he knows that Spring probably hasn't deleted his walls due to Spring having a higher score at this point. Now, since this is an arena game, and I knew we'd get some kind of arena game in here today. You know, arena generally takes a long time to build up and stuff, so what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the maps, see what these guys are playing with, and then I have a question, a discussion topic with you guys. So first of all, we'll take a look at Eddie's map, and at first glance it actually doesn't look very good at all. He's got a back stone here, which is a good thing, but for the Aztecs, they don't really need much stone. It's not like the Aztecs are going to be doing any insane castle drops or something like that. On the front, though, of Eddie's base, he does have the gold. A forward gold is crap. It's really crap. You don't want your gold on the front. It's easy to attack from behind the walls, it's weak to a castle drop, things like that. Conquistadors maybe could blast some villas from behind this wall, so Eddie's going to have to play aggressively to protect his gold, and since he's likely to be going for monks, since he's likely to be going for very gold intensive units, that gold is important to him. He also has another forward gold, his third gold's out on the front as well. It's a crappy map for Eddie. Spring, on the other hand, safe back gold here, it's nice for him. He has got a second back gold as well, all the good stuff for Spring. His stone is on the front, which does suck, and if he does go for a castle drop, which, you know, might work out for him, since he's the Spanish, if he does go for a castle drop, that stone could be in an awkward position. Maybe Eddie could harass that. We'll see, we'll have to wait and see. So the question I have for you guys is, have you seen A Knight's Tale, the film A Knight's Tale from 2001? Because Hannah and I watched it last night, and I don't know, I wanted to ask you guys if you'd seen it, because I absolutely love that film. Obviously, it's about jousting, it's about set in medieval times, and it's one of my favourites. I'd forgotten about it. It was obviously released a long time ago, and I saw it mentioned a while back, and I thought, you know what, we got to watch that film again, because I just think it's awesome. And I just wanted to know what your opinions on that film are, because I know probably a lot of you guys quite like medieval stuff and history stuff, I'm assuming. I might be wrong, but I can only assume. And so, I don't know, I just wanted to think, to know if you guys thought it was a good film or not. I think it's awesome. I love it. Absolutely awesome. And then we got into a discussion earlier on about, like, if we won the lottery, what we'd do with the money. And I said, we both kind of came up with this idea that if we won the lottery, we would set up basically a place where you could go and be medieval. Essentially, we'd buy a massive property with loads of land, set up loads of tents, make some jousting lists, and put on jousting displays, give people the opportunity to wear suits of armor and do archery, and just basically buy a weekend ticket to become a knight. I think that would be amazing. And if we ever win the lottery, you guys can come down to ZeroEmpires land. We'll give you all free tickets, and you can come and be knights with us and joust with us, and it'll be awesome. I really want that to happen now. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to live a medieval lifestyle. Maybe without all the bad stuff, without all the sewage in the street. Like a new medieval. New medieval. That's it's spelt like this, like that. New medieval. It's like modern art style. Anyway, so up to the feudal age we go, and surprisingly here, Eddie actually taking some stone. 3 villas on stone right now, and that's really unusual. I mean, you don't expect to see that from the Aztec player. Just 2 villages on the gold, but 3, now 4, now 5 on the stone, maybe a total of 7. Seems like he's going to actually go for that castle, which is very unexpected for the Aztecs. You don't generally see the Aztecs building castles, because their strength is in the monks, their strength is in the eagles. A castle is not really something that the Aztecs need. The reason I think he's going for a castle is because he thinks Spring is going to do the same. He doesn't know if Spring is going for a castle because he's not even scouted him, but this is where the meta and the kind of foreshadowing comes into play. Eddie knows that his gold is ass, right? So if Spring drops a castle on him successfully, then he's going to lose access to gold. He could lose the game from that position. As the Aztecs, you need gold. It's important. So he's got really no choice but to add a castle of his own. Thank you very much. I'm going to butcher this one again, but Sujero93 for resubscribing for 2 months in a row. Much appreciated, man. Welcome back to the Warlords. Much appreciated. Let's see those Wallow hypes in the chat for Sujero93. There we go. Totally nailed that one. Every time. I can never. Like, why do you guys come up with names like that? How do you say that one? Come on now. So yeah, like I was saying, gotta drop that. If he drops that castle, then it's game over for Eddie. So Eddie has no real choice but to make a castle of his own. Drop that castle of his own. And with Eddie now up to the castle age, you can engage that scout from Spring and take him down. Spring now up to castle, and forward go those villagers. Of course, Spring here has got a little bit more gold stone in the bank. He already has the stone he needs to basically immediately drop down the castle. And would you look at that? Where's the castle gonna go? Where's the castle gonna go? It's gonna go on the front, obviously, directly on the goal. So Eddie is an actual genius for actually, building a castle here. And foreshadowing this situation. But what did he not take into consideration? Well, he probably didn't take into consideration the Spanish build bonus. Spanish build their buildings faster, and for that reason, Eddie's castle might not finish in time, but it will certainly finish close enough. that Spring will not do any lasting damage here, and Edie will successfully be able to defend potentially his gold. He might be able to defend it. Obviously, that castle is still in range of the gold, so Eddie's still in a really freaking awkward position because, well, he can't actually mine the gold without the castle attacking the vills, but at least he has his castle here, and at least he's got something to protect it, and, you know, maybe he's feeling ballsy, he'll take the gold anyway. Spring, though, if he's watching, he could focus down these vills, because he could deny some more gold from Eddie. But Spring has more plans up his sleeve, he's not done yet. Petards! Har! Petard! Absolutely love this build from Spring. It's nice and aggressive, and that's the kind of thing you need to see in this kind of situation. Take him down before he gets rolling, before he gets strong. Petard's coming out. 2 Petards will break down a stone wall. The rest maybe could go for the castle. Maybe he'll start making some conquistadors now and break the wall, raid with the conks. That kind of thing can work. Eddie, however, in the meantime, has been collecting up the relics. He's got the monks on the way out. I'm amazed that Spring is attacking this house and not attacking the vills. I mean, this is like prime target right here. They are in range 100%, and yet Spring's like, nah man, I'd rather attack this house. You know, why kill the villagers where you could destroy their homes and then the villagers will die of not having somewhere to sleep? Well, if only it worked that way. Eddie has plenty of population headroom, and he's like just not attacking the vills. It's really weird. Spring now in the chat asking why Eddie went for the castle. Eddie's response is science. Yeah. Obviously Eddie just read what Spring was gonna do, and Eddie actually has gold out on this left side as well, so I think Eddie's in actually a pretty solid position right here. Spring now. Wow, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, what's that? 6, 7 on the way, non-stop around the clock. Production here. This is interesting, and the thing is, because they're garrisoned in the castle, and he's not done a wall bust yet, Eddie actually doesn't know what Spring is doing. Eddie doesn't know if Spring is making more petards or if he's making more conquistadors. He's not sure. So, you know, he's walling up behind this again. That's understandable, because if he loses his wall, then, you know, some conquistadors could come in and do a lot of damage. But he's probably not going to expect this. Probably not going to expect this. So Eddie right now, he's still got all the gold, and he's still getting all the relics as well. Look at this monk train right now. These guys, 4 whole relics at the moment. The 5th relic is outside of Spring's walls, and Eddie could still grab that. He knows where it is. But here comes Spring. The petard rush, in he goes, down goes the castle. Such a calculated aggression there. Straight through the wall, straight through the castle, and now the conquistadors are coming out to blast their way through those villagers. Eddie, though, he's got his monks on standby. They're ready to go. And I've always thought, the monks were a little lackluster, a little bit disappointing versus conquistadors. I guess in good numbers, the monks are going to be great. But Spring here, he's ready to go. He's ready to rock and roll. But Eddie is ready to defend. He's got his monks in place, and they are going to be a deterrent for now. And not only that, but Eddie, he's on the way up to Imperial. 38% of the way up to Imp. And you know what, guys? I think I'll upload that as clip of the day tomorrow. You don't see a petard rush to break down your opponent's castle very often. That was awesome. That was really cool. So Eddie, you know, quick walling up back here. He's got his monks in defense, but Spring's not done yet. Spring's like, I want another castle. Let's drop another castle down here, doing yet another cattle drop. The question is, will he put it in a good place? He doesn't know about this gold up here. If only he knew, he might understand that there is a better place for this one. At the very least, it's going to pressure this wall or whatever. It's going to be annoying, to say the least. Spring, 1 TC aggression, I love it, but, you know, will Eddie's Imperial Age be the end of it here? It could well be. Well, at the very least, Spring, if he micros well, could take down the monks. He's got to kill the monks fast. Oh, 1 conversion goes off. That's not fast enough. 3 conversions. Oh, dearie me. Spring losing his almost his entire army here. He's going to lose his villagers as well. Good micro from Eddie. Those villas are going down. That castle will not be completed as those villagers get blasted. And Eddie reaches Imperial. With a castle up, Eddie can immediately throw down a trebuchet. Once the trebs are popping, the castles are dropping, and Spring will probably lose his castle here as well. And that, guys, is how you defend from a castle drop. 2 castle drops indeed. Spring there, calling GG. Eddie knows it's done. And, I mean, just from 1 second losing your wall and your castle to then within 2 minutes winning the game, it's kind of unbelievable, really. It kind of is unbelievable. But Eddie, with a few monks, a few conversions, turns it around, denies the next castle drop. Spring, he's still in the castle age. He knows he can't defend this. He knows that Eddie's going to have trebs coming up any minute now. And he knew that that castle was completed. So for Spring, it was very much game over. But what an entertaining game nevertheless. Arena never fails to give us some hype, to give us some interesting strats. And, you know, you can tell that Spring is definitely not a fan of this map, that is for sure. But we can update the scoreboard now. It's 1-1. It means that the set will at least go to 4 games, which means there's 2 more games to come in your way. And Eddie, of course, wins the arena game. What a surprise. What a surprise. Yeah, totally. Awesome. So next game, going to be